love. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the VCS. We're making our way into the heart of Summer Split, week 3, so we're a bit away, but you've got myself, Milky Cereal, joined by Marbinogi to take you through our first series of the day. And Marby, we have one of our two teams that is currently undefeated. They have dropped some games, but they are yet to drop a series. SBTC looking very strong right now.
Yeah, they are looking in my eyes like the best team in the league. Fairly consistent across the board. Strong solo laners, leading definitely sort of top two, top three in the role. Pretty much across the board, just fairly strong players and great macro sense. Great know how to play out their compositions very well, and this is something that a lot of the other teams are lacking. Either knowledge of how to play their comps or just consistency with them doing so.
Now, SBTC find themselves against Team Wales for our first series of the day. And Team Wales, we had some mixed feelings about before we came into split. When they started the split, they looked very good. They got that win over Cerberus. They beat ASE Sports, but then again, everyone is beating ASE Sports right now. And then they had that shaky loss against Genius. And that's when we thought, are Team Wales really going to be able to match up to some of the top teams in the league? Because, Barbie, I feel like we kind of created this narrative for them, which came true in the sense of if Killer Queen plays well, Team Wales will play well. But we've seen games, and I think it was when he was playing on Talon and had some disgusting goal lead, just couldn't convert that into a win.
Yeah, I'm feeling like we're in for another bit of a split where if I ever get my hope up within the glory team, it's gonna fall apart, and if I have no expectations, it's gonna do pretty well. So
Okay.
currently we're riding the wave of no expectations, and but no, more honestly, there are just some very obvious glaring weaknesses. We see the top lane struggling against most other opponents in that lane. Killer Queen is of course a coin flip, sometimes very present, sometimes absolutely invisible. And the bot lane still needs perhaps a little bit more diversity within their champion picks to really stand out and be that next step up that to carry that team. So a lot of consistency issues, especially coming out of that jungler, and as well as some very obvious weaknesses keeping them from reaching the true top of the table.
Now, before we dive into this series specifically and start kind of breaking it down role by role, I do want to touch on our second series of the day as well. ASE Esports taking on Team Secret, the worst of the league against the best of the league. Well, joint best of the league. Team Secret also yet to drop a series. Now, my question that I want to throw to you, Marby, is these two teams that are currently undefeated and looking by far and away the two best teams in the league, they're going to be facing each other next week for the first series for both of them on that week. Do you think they will both be undefeated when they get to that series?
So I think it's a fairly. I mean, there are definitely points where they can falter. Like I would say if SBTC has the harder time having to play Wales today than Cerberus later on. But so that I can definitely see them dropping it, but I don't expect it. Team Secret is a bit more of a flip because while the ASE should be a win, and GARM, from what we've seen, should be a win. GARM might be the team to knock that and upset that whole apple cart and ruin the hype. But I think if all things go according to plan, it should be a match of undefeated giants. But there are very much spanners lying on the floor that could get into the works somehow.
And I do love this fact of the VCS right now. The fact that we're essentially saying, do we think these two teams are going to win? Yes. You double check the two teams that they're facing against, and oh, we've got our winter split champions and our spring split champions. Easy claps. Um, but I think that just goes to highlight just how much the VCS has changed from the spring to summer split, because it's not a case of that. I think your analysis is wrong at all, Bobby. I fully agree. I think that both of these teams will be undefeated and will be facing off against each other as 6-0 teams come next week on Friday. But it is just such a weird situation that we find ourselves in, because after spring we thought, Gam are going to be joining Saigon Buffalo. They're going to be representing us at Worlds, and now it's Are they going to be representing us at Worlds? Are we going to be seeing SBTC in secret? Hell, who knows? Maybe even ASE Sports find their mojo and somehow get into playoffs.
I think that one's gonna happen.
Probably not.
However,
Probably not.
but yeah, just you see things like Garm just having major struggles and going up against Team Secret. You see Secret have huge advantages in certain positions, and you're like, oh, this isn't correct. This isn't normal. But anyway, that's later on in the week, and they're gonna play ASE. That should be handy. Secret. So that should be Secret coming up today later on. Game 2 should be easy.
Okay. We'll leave Secret aside for now. We'll leave aside the overall standings, Worlds, hopes, and all of that. I'm sure we'll have a podcast at some point to discuss that. Let's talk about the series coming up. That's only a few minutes away. SBTC against Team Wales. Where should we be looking, Marby? Who are the key players for both of these teams?
So once again, if with Team Wales, I think if you're looking for the best matchup in terms of two very good players, you're looking towards that mid lane. Dia1, Glory, very different players. Dia1 has been playing the split much more roam heavy for the team, playing picks like Gragas, Talia, whereas Glory, super lane dominant, fantastic stats across the board, but has not been able to really impact the map nearly as much. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to be quite the pivotal matchup compared to the top side, where we have Nagia, who is right at the bottom of top laners, versus Emperor, who is right at the top, and if not the best, because this man has been killing it this split, and Nagia has been killed this split.
And I think we were talking about something disgusting for Empo. What was it, like 12 solo kills from his very first series? And he's already looking, at getting the most solo kills in the split. I think last split it was Hero who got 38, I want to say. It was either way, it was somewhere in the mid to high 30s. Um, but I do want to go back to this mid lane because we've had a total of 10 games played by Glory so far, and in 9 of those games, Glory has come out with a CS lead. This guy has an average CS lead at 15 minutes of 15.7 CS. It is ridiculous how dominant he is, and he's not even just playing entirely lane. He's not playing, lane dominant champions all the time. There's Corki, there's Victor, there's Azir, Silas. I wouldn't particularly call them, hey, we're going to smurf on you in the first few minutes of the game.
Yeah, definitely not. He's definitely not playing super lane dominant champions, but he has been definitely trending towards staying towards that lane and again not really branching out into the sides and getting his team ahead, which is where he will fall behind in a bit of tempo and gain a bit of these leads, get a little bit of stats, but if does he end up having as much impact as someone like Artifact or Dia1? Probably not. That's sort of the weakness for Glory a lot of the time. Sometimes he hyper focuses on the lane. It's been the case on Burst the Sky in the past, but there is a little bit more understandable where he's like the only functional player on that team. Here, Ariete and CBL have shown they can be a threat. Killer Queen, if he's supported, can be fantastic. So I think Glory really needs to break out of this mindset and start playing for the team a little bit more. And maybe that can level Wales up.
Now, I do want to touch on our jungle matchup, DNK against Killer Queen. Killer Queen has been a player who's almost been notorious in the VCS for how aggressively he plays and the fact that he can find those leads. We don't even need to talk about his mesmerizing Lee Sin gameplay. But where do you see DNK right now? Because DNK has always been kind of this big question mark for me, and I can never really understand, is this guy playing really well? Is he struggling? So what's your view of DNK's performances so far in summer?
So I think DNK, like, he had a really rough spring, but I always feel a little bit of sympathy for junglers in terms of if they have rough solo laners, and with Tuti and Emperor in spring, yeah, it's a bit harder for DNK to really get the job done and really shine, especially as a more cerebral jungler, and less that big flashy show off like Killer Queen. So can't quite solo carry games without that support. But with these solo laners, he can be fantastic. He can control the map, make sure the enemy can't really explode in the way they would like to. And that's where he shines. He's historically been with players like Artifact, who have been able to give him that mid lane priority to work with. And now he's got a mid laner on tier of Artifact again. That's what he needs.
Okay, well, with that, picks and bans are starting between SBTC and Team Wales. We talked a little bit about the Corki that we've seen Glory being playing. That is banned away. Team Wales, though, they're focusing towards Celebrity right now, pulling Kalista, which has been a rather strong meta champion lately.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping to see maybe if some of the teams would develop a few more counters into Kalista. We've seen Draven pop up in the LCK, for example. But, yep, that's just going to be off the board. Do not want to go towards these risk that lane-dominant AD carry. I imagine Zeri will likely follow soon, and then probably we revert to a Aphelios Jinx style of bot lane, and we all know how that goes. It's fairly slow. Maybe some dives will come down depending on support matchup, but as it is, banning out the big AD carries with Senna and Kalista.
I'm finding this Akali ban rather interesting from Team Wales because neither Dire 1 nor Emperor have played the Akali yet in the split, but it is something that Team Wales are being wary of nonetheless.
Yeah, it's definitely something that Dia can play. I don't really remember Emperor being a big Akali player off the top of my head, but I wouldn't be surprised if he can, and that flex option is just super strong. So a few more jungles off the board. This leaves Zeri open for the side of Celebrity, and I would be very shocked if that's not taken away pretty much instantly.
So, a fun thing with that Zeri pick is neither Celebrity or Ariete have played the champion yet this split. I'm pretty sure they both played it last split, but for now, we'll see whether either team does want to take it up. For now, SBTC locking in that Renat, and just as you predicted, Marby, Zeri is open, and Team Wales will snap it up for themselves.
Yeah, and with that support pick, you possibly even feel pretty happy to take the Yuumi alongside, and then you've got a very strong scaling bot lane to work with as the game progresses later on, but just keep buying as much time as they can over that Zeri, so they can think about what they want to pick up here. Maybe they want to take away a jungle as early as possible, make sure, considering the big two are off the board, maybe that leaves, I guess, Volibear and Wukong left. So I would imagine a Wukong and a Yuumi would be coming out for Team Wales. Oh, if not, well, I can pick the worst one.
The Xin Zhao locked in then for Killer Queen. We know he likes aggressive early game junglers, and he's picked up the Xin. We don't really see many people playing Xin now in the meta, but that's Killer Queen for you. And as you said, you highlighted maybe seeing Aphelios and Jinx in the bottom lane. Well, for SBTC and for Celebrity, that Aphelios will get locked in.
Yeah, normally we're only sort of seeing Xin Zhao when there are lots of jungle bans, but yeah, with things like the Volibear still open, this should just give that early jungle pressure to the side of DNK and can push in, actually aggress on top of Stark, apparently.
Everyone's Stark. It's not Team Wales anymore, Team Stark.
But this is going to be the pickup. This Sylas has been killing it across the globe, and yeah, it's a fantastic pick. Absolutely insane strength right now, even without fantastic ults to steal. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with that first round.
And something else to mention as well, so far we've been seeing Team Wales, not Team Wales, we've seen SBTC, they're always putting Emperor on these scaling side lane, top laners. We've seen the likes of the Gwen, Fiora, Kayle, Jax, or most notably his Gnar, all champions that kind of want to be left alone, and if they get to the late game, with the exception of Gnar, become absolute monsters.
And that's why this Sylas pick is actually really nice, because it's sort of a soft ban on Gnar. Like, you don't have to ban it away, but SBTC are probably going to be a lot more hesitant towards picking it. And that has been one of Emperor's shining lights, because he can just take that and he feels like super comfortable pretty much no matter the matchup. And so this time, they are going to pretty much end up saving the counter pick for the top laner most likely. And, okay, so the Swain ban's a little bit interesting, because Sylas with Swain ultimate is kind of filthy, so that's gonna reduce a toolkit option, but I understand they don't want to play a super short range composition into it, so that indicates there's not going to be anything super long range coming out of Nagia, which I don't even think there's really anything in the meta that can provide that, so it's fine. So it's all good. I imagine a support lock in here. Maybe something like a Braum, probably not a Braum, maybe a Lulu, some
I
kind of
still want to
enchantment
see
sounds
the
nice.
Amumu, and it seems like Team Wells they don't want to showcase exactly what's going support with the Zeri. So for now, they're going to lock in the Gwen for Nagia. Can I just say as well, Marby, sorry to take more time away from you. Is there a possibility, because I really want it, that CBL takes a Silas to go alongside Zeri in the bottom lane?
So we saw that from Taki against Seraphine
Yeah.
last split. And the big issue with Silas is his ultimate at rank 1 is kind of really bad.
Yeah.
You kind of have to use it, and you have to grab it and use it very quickly. You can't hold on to it, so I don't think so, especially with how strong Silas is with gold right now. And if you're just going to pick Braum, this R5 was useless, and I feel that they just wasted draft resources there. Luckily for them, though, the Gwen does bait out the Gnar pick, so Glory's going to have some fantastic, have at least one fantastic ultimate to just steal and turn around a fight.
I feel like Glory has two really good ultimates, because obviously you've got the Gnar ult, but then you've got the Renata ult, and one of the advantages I feel with Silas having Renata ult over the Renata is that Silas is far more capable of being able to get right into the midst of a team fight, and then it becomes very difficult for the enemy team to be able to dodge out on the hostile takeover.
It's true, and also it does a pretty healthy chunk of damage on its own, so the if you pick someone at about half health, it's very likely they'll get chunked low enough that the auto-attacking, the betrayal, the rage mechanic, berserk, or whatever it is, will actually end up picking up those final kills. But we're gonna have to see this this bot lane final of Wales. It has decent potential, but it's not my favorite pairing between these two. It's definitely a sacrifice lane type thing and going for a more team fight setup.
So, looking at the two drafts that we have, where do you sit, Marby? Do you prefer this SBTC draft or Team Wells? Because I think I prefer SBTC. I don't know why. I see a LeBlanc and I instantly like play-by-play brain things.
Yeah, I think Wales overall has the better draft, especially the later the game gets, the better it gets. But I do feel they may have sacrificed too much early priority. And with a mid jungle like Volibear LeBlanc, that could absolutely run over the game if they move to the side lanes correctly, play through the Gravitum on Celebrity. That's just so much CC, so much dive threat that you could easily shut down the Seri.
Well, with that, we are heading into a game. Our first game of the day between SBTC and Team Wells, and SBTC looking to continue their undefeated streak going, currently with 4 series wins and not a single series drop. Whereas Team Wells, they're looking to get back into form, Marby, after what was a very good week 1, and then week 2 was a lot more shaky from them.
Week 2 was definitely bounce back hard as we get a slight
Oh no?
slight pause there, slight freeze, but overall should be fine. Yeah, I feel like I'm staring at the Xin Zhao pick and just questioning it. Like
So,
Wukong
what-
isn't the most active, but I feel Xin Zhao recently on this patch just does not have the ability to really push that aggression. We're just going to see Killer Queen be fairly useless and invisible on it, like we did in week 2.
Okay, so I'm then looking to see what Killer Queen can do on this Xin Zhao. Can he actually find any opportunities to make early plays, or is this all going to be DNK favored on this Volibear, which is probably the strongest early game jungler in the meta right now?
Definitely on this patch. Going to be nerfed a smidgen on the next one, but still going to have to see. Right now, early pressure in the bot side, pretty even in the solo lanes though, so not going to expect any hyper aggressive invades, but so it will just end up being a very simple clear across the map for both of these junglers. We'll probably meet up towards this Scuttle Crab. Gonna have to see who gets there slightly faster. It looks like DNK will be in position first, but again, no real priority in either lane to come secure that match. for him. So that shouldn't be too bad. But Silas is getting a lot of pressure, but in trading health for it. So maybe Glory can influence this top lane, but actually that DNK has foregone the blue buff to try and pressure in and look towards these chickens, perhaps. That's interesting, but I guess the idea is if he falls back and can't quite push up and with this aggression, he'd have something better to fall back to, but now DO1 has control over mid lane, so he's very comfortable.
The weird thing to me is if Killer Queen had just done his Raptors before going on to red buff, this would have been a completely pointless invade from DNK. And now he's actually just looking to force Killer Queen out of his own jungle. DNK only with that one buff, DNK having 2 buffs, but it looks like Killer Queen is going to have to relinquish any pressure over the Scuttle Crab.
Yeah, but Killer Queen is going to
flash
over the wall. I'll look for the W.
This is why we love Killer Queen. This is why we love his aggression flashing over the wall. No, he's going to get himself killed. No, he dives in. He gets first blood onto Ember. Barbie, what did we just witness?
So I liked the setup, but Nagia wasn't on the same page. He didn't shove the wave fast enough so it can walk in, get the kill, and get out. So we got trapped between DNK and he gets the first blood, which is a bonus, I suppose. But that is it's a free back that Emperor was going to take anyway. I guess
can't
so.
Stop laughing. You're gonna have to play by play for a bit.
It's just a complete. It's mostly a win for SBTC. Emperor had to back anyway, so yeah, he dies, but he was gonna backburn the TP, and now Killer Queen is kind of just off the map for a bit. This will let DNK be very happy and get a lead of his own.
So, Bobby, I love how when we started this game, we were talking about, oh, Killer Queen, this really aggressive jungler. How has DNK been playing relative to him? Then after draft, we were like, oh, Killer Queen's on Xin Zhao. He's not going to have, enough priority early. But he flashes over a wall, unseen. And then Emperor, what is Emperor doing? Oh.
I feel like...
Did he just misjudge the range?
I think it's part if he feels like if he stays away from Killer Queen, he will end up giving a kill over to Nagia, and that'll be an assisted kill to his lane opponent. So just give the full first blood isolated to Killer Queen, and that will play out a lot better than giving a Gwen a kill. So currently Emperor is kind of ahead in gold technically by the fact he has that assist. He's down a little bit in experience, but I guess it was a good call overall, I suppose.
So, Marby, you know how I've been having this meme about kind of flipping over my allegiance within VCS. My first split, I was president of the Luxury Fan Club. Then last split, I was president of the Eddie Fan Club. I still am president of the Eddie Fan Club, but I feel like it might be time to move over to president of the Killer Queen Fan Club, as now Nagia in a 1v2, but might actually be able to outplay. This takes a lot of damage from the Hyper Procs. Emperor flashing forward. One more auto. Is that enough? He's going to need another couple. Can't quite get close enough, and doesn't have the boomerang for the slow either.
Going for that call pick from Emperor, it's completely unreasonable considering the situation he was in, but okay, Killer Queen, there is aggression, and then there's absolute stupidity. And
Don't do it, buddy.
That Mega Gnar, and he's like, no, if that was mini Gnar, I think he'd go for it. But yeah, he's gonna back off. CBL is here as well. Palette also lurking. Now Glory may have overstepped.
Hostile takeover, stolen glory, running towards Killer Queen and CBL. Ethereal chains drop down, and Palette will get the kill with the ignite. Concussive blows will not lock down DO1, and CBL and Killer Queen are forced to retreat. The Mimic Ethereal chains land and root Killer Queen in place, but there is no follow-up from the SBTC duo.
Those chains are just too long. Glory tries to go for a bait into his team, and maybe going to aggress onto Palette. Does not look like it, but the chains just... they connect and they keep him down, and they do so much damage that Glory just ends up falling before the rest of Team Wales can actually really respond and interact with the play. So with that down, that just means free reign for Celebrity to punish this early game Zeri with his Aphelios, and now there's a Volibear. Volibear has ult, so this tower means nothing.
It's going to be a free grilled Zeri steak in a second. However, Palette and Celebrity can't really follow up on Arietti. And CBL making his way over. DNK is taking so much damage, there's no way Arietti gets a kill for a second. I thought I was about to see the impossible once again in the VCS. Here's a replay then of how Glory got caught out in the mid lane.
Glory just is not aware of Palette, and this extra shielding, these extra CC just keeps him down, and then this great chain from Dia means that there's no hope for Glory to get out, and CBL is just in the wrong position, and Emp is going to add another name to his list, picks up another solo kill. He's doing fantastic.
Yeah, so almost like that first death never happened, because when it did happen, Nagia was bullying out Emperor in the lane, but now that Emperor has a few more levels to his belt and, well, a few more item components completed as well, he's having the time of his life in this matchup.
Definitely is. Now Killer Queen's going to look for something, but they
Oh no.
kind of give the game away, and Palette's going to be able to walk away pretty much scot-free.
And Killer Queen just goes in 1v2, CBL and Arietti backing away, and Killer Queen saying, where is my bot lane follow-up? And now he's getting run down by both Palette and Celebrity. DK making his way over. Killer Queen will die. Celebrity might die as well. Arietti, will he be able to get the kill? No, the bailout. It keeps Celebrity alive. And it's 3 kills for SBTC in the bottom lane.
Wales are not on the same page. Killer Queen is just not talking to his lanes at all, it feels like. And so this is Nagia aggressing onto Emperor and just not respecting this rage bar. Yeah, he just goes in knowing the transformation is about to happen, does not respect it, and just gets stun locked and then knocked down. And I feel here this could have been a good setup, but
It was a good setup.
They don't see Paletteness on the ward, but they do stop his back with that Ultra Shock Laser. And that means that from here, you have to give up, and the bot lane makes the call to back off. Killer Queen makes the call to go hard and go ham, and he's just up a creek. He's up a creek, and then the bailout's there to clean up the rest.
Let's be honest, Marby. It does not take someone to be on the same team as Killer Queen for more than a day to realize that if there is an opportunity to engage, Killer Queen will take that opportunity with both hands.
Yeah, it feels like that, but now Nagia baiting an Emperor, perhaps. The needlework does click.
It does. It gets a slow, but Nagia can't follow anymore. And now DNK is saying hello in the top lane. There is no rage bar, but the Sky Splitter drop down Crescent Guard will deny its damage, and DNK and Emperor can now just crash this wave under the tower.
Yeah, Emperor stepping slightly a bit too far forward and took that first aggro, so I think if he hadn't, they might have been able to pull off a dive, but they back off. There's no ultimate for DNK either, so just going to be that wave crash and more lane control for the side of SBTC, and we're seeing the gold lead open right up. Low-key 6 kills have appeared. I haven't really been paying attention to the score bar, but
Glad to get a 7th here as well as Arietti hand shook, and Dire 1 gets another kill. Right, Marby, it's time for me to test your memory. How good do you think your memory is, actually?
It's terrible, frankly.
Okay, great. Perfect. That makes this a lot more fun. So, do you remember back in not in Winter Split, in Spring Split.
21st night of September?
The 21st night of, do you remember the 13th? Is it 14th of September? I don't know the song lyrics. Otherwise,
night of September.
It's actually 21st night of September. See, that's how bad my memory is. Okay.
I remember songs.
So, do you remember, and no song references this time, Marby, back in Spring Split, there was a hot fix to fix Killer Queen's aggression. Do you remember what that was?
Talon nerfs.
Oh, Emperor's just flashing in under tower. He's going to get the kill, but can Killer Queen pull one back? I think the answer to that one will be yes. And Nagia's death
doesn't
will
matter.
not be in
Looks good on
vain.
the scorecard.
Ooh, Glory. Almost getting it. Dire 1, you cannot hang around. Okay, so the hot fix was to put Killer Queen onto farming junglers, because whenever he was on farming junglers, he would, well, power farm instead of going for these ludicrously aggressive plays. And as a result, Luxury looked a little bit better when he was playing like that.
Okay. Yeah, that So I'm hearing we need to start moving him towards things like the Lilia. That's good. I'm here for more Lilia in the VCS, but while we're at that, SPTC
Right.
have just controlled the entire map. They've taken Rift Arrow, dropped it bot lane. We're just gonna see another solo kill. It's a null solo kill, and at this point, it's just hyperprocs into an ultimate, pretty much just stuns them up, knocks them down. Killer Queen is in the right position to convert it, but that's still so much pressure and so much experience lost for the side of Nagia that it's just sad to look at. But yeah, Rift Tower went bot lane, first tower, they got a dragon, and now they can bring Aphelios right up and take the rest of these plates.
The only sad thing about this play for SBTC is if they get a kill, it won't be another Emperor solo kill. Need to work to chip down the minions, but this is a 5-man dive in the top lane. DNK will get the first one. Now they look towards Nagia. DNK flashes away. 2 kills for the side of SBTC. No, the bailout might be able to keep that one alive. No, it can't. Killer Queen showing up and down. Has dropped the Zeri ultimate. I think Emperor's going to fall, but so does Killer Queen. Celebrity over the wall, and Glory's just going to be able to lock him down. The abduct, and Ariete picks up the kill. And the dive for SBTC, while it was a lot of fun, it became a lot of fun for Team Wales.
It's a huge turnaround on that play. The teleports do manage to come in. They're able to buy so much time, and even though they juggled the aggro so much that only DO1 really suffered the wrath of that tower, it bought more than enough time for the flank and the wraparound, and that's just so much more gold back into the pockets of Wales. And it starts off with 5 versus 2 on the top side, which is absolutely insane, but Emperor running out of Meganar makes this a bit more, makes it easier for the turnaround, as we see just comes in, gets the start off, but Glory just deals so much damage, scares them all off, and the tower had been ramping up enough to just kill DO1. Killer Queen able to survive a lot longer than he should have, thanks to that Crescent Guard as well, and then it's just the cleanup by Glory and Ariete that ends up being a 4 for 3 overall, and that's the trade you need, especially with shutdowns in the mix.
Now, I know I could, and our producer Tim's probably watching this thinking, Milky Marby, flame them for the bad play, flame them for the bad play. But I'm going to try to spin this in a positive note, because I feel like SBTC, they're in a situation where they could just be like, hey, we were 6k gold ahead, let's just do nothing and win the game. But I'm glad that they're still being aggressive. They're still trying to be able to force these advantages, and I feel like that's something that over the course of a split will be able to help a team, especially as we have Worlds at the end of our summer split.
I respect the attempt to go for it, for sure.
Was it a failed attempt though?
It definitely flopped. I just don't think they expected Glory to be able to keep them in their range for so long, and that's another kill to Killer Queen, punishing the aggression from Emperor stepping up very far. And look, Killer Queen is putting on he's getting a good scoreline going. He's picked up 5 kills across the map, been involved in 100% of Team Wales' kills. And yeah, look, he's putting in effort. He's trying to make his presence felt. Sometimes that's not necessarily the best thing to do, but he is going there. He's making sure to punish Emperor when he can. Emperor, not Emperor.
Not the Emperor this game.
Real name.
Today he is Intper, and in a few days he'll go back to the Emperor. He has got 2 solo kills, yes, but you can both be the Emperor and the Emperor at the same time. I don't know. Either way, it's a 3k goal lead for the side of SBTC Esports. How Killer Queen is up 2 levels on DNK, I don't know, because DNK actually got to level 6 before Killer Queen got to level 5, so Killer Queen's just been kind of popping off since about 10 minutes in this game.
Well, quite simply, DNK has been in his lanes as much as possible. He's been going there, he's been getting some kills, and that's been working out for him. Killer Queen's been able to manage to farm up pretty happily by himself, and really found these opportunistic picks that rather than forcing anything in the side lanes, he's been there to capitalize on mistakes from SBTC and find that extra experience rather than making the decision to trade jungle experience for kills. And now, another objective. That's going to be bit more tempo lost for DNK, especially when it comes to things like farming. But it will be traded just straight off of the dragon, and that will stop a potential snowball win condition for the side of SBTC.
Now, I do think we said at the start of this game, we were talking a little bit about the scaling aspects for both teams, and we said that SBTC, or you said that while you think Team Wales have a slightly better composition, SBTC had the advantage in the early stages of the game, and you felt that SBTC should be able to win the early stages. But if Team Wales could hold on, and they're seemingly somewhat holding on, how do you view their chances for the remainder of this game?
Yeah, realistically, they're in a pretty okay position. They're only like 3.5k down. Glory's getting a lot of gold into his pockets. He's slowly getting up there. Gwen is getting up there. Ariete is getting up there. They're all still only one item spikes right now. Really, they're just cursing Killer Queen for stealing so many kills in the skirmishes. Because that gold would be so much more useful on some of these other carries, but
Zeri.
On a Zeri, on a Silas,
or anyone, to be honest.
Pretty much, because eventually Killer Queen is just going to be an alt button. That's about it, and that's fine. He's gotten to his Gore Drinker, and now he's going to try and pick up Emperor once again. Maybe he can give this one to Nagia.
I don't know about that. I think Killer Queen would still end up finding a way to get the kill. Killer Queen and having too much gold and being unable to convert those gold advantages is a rather iconic duo in the VCS. But while Team Wales look for an aggressive play towards the bottom side, SBTC now just looking to get some priority in the mid lane, looking to pick up the third and final outer tower of the game.
They have Rift Herald in pocket, so they just need to find the right moment. Glory was lurking. That is pretty much what dissuaded them from trying to drop it right now. They don't want to aggress too far and give a good opportunity for Glory on the wraparound. But Queen, once again, hyper aggression coming out, and now he's learned his lesson. He's going to walk away. And all in all, that is gold into the pockets of Wales as Nagira is able to control the spot side.
I've got to call you out for some of your analysis there, Marby, and it is very rare that I can do that. But did you just say Killer Queen learned his lesson and will be less aggressive?
Well, he didn't try and 1v3 for a red buff, and that's another kill for Emperor.
Oh no! Emperor's got one, he's not going to make that two, and again it's Killer Queen who picks up the kill.
Yeah, but 2 on the bot side and traded for the 1-for-1, and that gives the opening for this tower to fall. Rift Herald down, and so yeah, Killer Queen learned his lesson and backed off. Emperor did not, and just said, I am going to get this trade in a 2v1. Yeah, definitely was never going to get the 1v2, but
I mean, he didn't have any choice here apart from going in.
Yeah, he definitely recognized that with that wind becomes lightning landing on him, that there's no escape. So gets the 1-for-1, really well played out of Emperor, and just able to find his opportunities and utilize his really aggressive posturing.
It's one of those plays where you just get really frustrated in solo queue when you're as a jungler or anyone, you try to make a play and then your teammate who's on really low health decides to stick around because they want an assist or they want a kill steal at the end, and then they just end up dying. And you're just there thinking, come on buddy, why would you do that?
Yeah, and look, you're seeing that Killer Queen is roughly the same level as Nagia. It's because he's picking up all this extra experience after Nagia has died. He's gonna raise to level 13, but all in all, it's just a really big game for Killer Queen. But it needs to be a big game for someone else if Wales are gonna carry it over.
I mean, you know, Glory's 1-1 and 2. He's got a rod, folks. He's got a rod. He's getting towards the second item. I mean, to be fair, Ariete has 2 items, has a Phantom Dance as well as the Immortal Shield Bow, and will be getting stronger as the game goes on. Same can be said for the likes of Celebrity. Tier 1, though, what do you make of his chances in this game as a LeBlanc, you know, looking at the targets he has available? Because he's not going to be able to burst out of Silas, but surely Ariete and maybe Nagira are kind of free game for him?
Ariadne, I would imagine, is the main target, so it's really on CBL and Killer Queen to just sort of mark and make sure Dia1 cannot. Glory is currently doing that right now, and Dia1 will be able to jump over the wall. But yeah, just that's pretty much the main target for Dia1. The Silas is definitely probably a bit too much. Maybe Nagia if you catch them napping in a side lane and get the drop, but overall it just does not seem like that the LeBlanc is going to have the best of times, and it's going to have to be playing extra careful, extra smart. Try and look for the cheeky flanks, play through the vision very well, but just distorts onto a ward, and that's kind of the opposite of what he needs.
Well, Team Wales are starting on the Drake, and SBTC say, sure, you take the Drake, we're going to start on the Baron Nashor. CBL has dropped down a control ward. Now the teleports are coming through. Baron is down to 2,500. Hostile takeover, drop down. Nagia showing up, DNK in the pit, so is Emperor. Glory going in. They're going to be able to get one kill, but the Baron has been secured by the side of SBTC. CBL will fall, makes it a 1-for-1. ADC for support, Ariete showing up as well, and this is just going to go the way of Team Wales as they turn their attention towards Emperor. Try to hop away, will land a 3-man, somebody is not enough as Ariete gets a second kill for Team Wales. SBTC get the Baron, but they lose 2 members.
Only 2 members is still okay for the side of SBTC. You're a little upset you lost it on to Emperor, but considering you're going to lose this tower as well, it's really a win overall for the side of Team Wales. And that's huge. I definitely think Wales could have won out so much harder with a better use of that hijacked hostile takeover, but as it is, they're gonna feel fairly happy with that. It's an okay turnout, but it's gonna be on to SBDC to try and fix that and make it more. As you see, he just throws it towards Celebrity and Paulette instead of maybe perhaps into the pit. Could have kept those tankier members locked in longer, delayed the Baron, given Ariete time to arrive and do a bit more damage, maybe pick up another kill on the exit, but doesn't quite happen. So all in all, it seems fairly even, but it's up to SBTC to make it a positive play.
It's a very close game right now, 13 kills to 10, and sure, there's a 3k goal lead for the side of SBTC, but as we've already discussed, Team Wales, they are scaling, and SBTC with only that one Drake, if Team Wales won, we're talking about 10-15 minutes until the Elder Drake comes up onto the map, and that's a lot of time for Team Wales to scale.
Yeah, it's about 3k gold lead, but we're at the point where Volibear is just kind of a slab of meat, doesn't really provide a whole lot for his team, can maybe turn off a tower here and there, but as well as LeBlanc just kind of becoming a little bit more difficult to play as things progress. I'm not in love with this champion. I really think it needs to sort of phase out, but as it is, SBTC with Baron, no dragon on the map, no anything on the map, have to try and crack these inner towers, and that's just proving a little bit too difficult for them right now. Maybe an overstep from Nagia can be capitalized, maybe a step up from Killer Queen.
And Killer Queen's going in, just about survives, and that's despite having, you know, quite a lot of kills, being quite far ahead as well. The Sterix Gage coming in very clutch for the Team Wales jungler.
God, and Sterix Gage, but with that down, without Killer Queen, then makes this a 2v4. This tower is very hard to defend, and there is a Stormbringer if DNK wants to use it.
Teleport, but I think that tower might just fall before the TP comes through. No, it doesn't do. Team Wales want to take the fight. The tower's going to fall to the Baron-empowered cannon minions. Dia1 just looking to poke for now as SBTC make their retreat.
So they do manage to keep the siege up and take down that mid lane tower, and it's a little bit, it's something. It means the Baron wasn't completely worthless, but it doesn't feel like quite enough, and relied pretty much on Killer Queen being over-aggressive once again, so they need to be a little bit more calm, a little bit more controlled, and Team Wales can definitely try and control this and win out in these big 5v5 skirmishes around objectives, but they can't just walk in like that into 4 people.
Well, we do have a Drake in 1 minute's time. Baron in 2 minutes. Glory has the hostile takeover. Oh, he predicts Glory's position. Hostile takeover as well. Dia1 runs. Is there a burn? I think Dia1 survives. CBL too far away. And Glory is so unlucky not to get that solo kill.
Yeah, so close. Just a smidgen more damage, another auto attack, but LeBlanc is just that slippery of a champion. You just can't deal with double dashes. It's just unfair, basically.
Like,
so
that
so close.
literally, if Glory has a red buff, a corrupting potion, a red smite, that's tier 1 dead.
That's why you gotta build Leandre's, everybody. That Everfrost is only so strong. It's gotten considerable nerfs, and CBL is taking a lot of damage.
CBL chunked a very low hostile takeover, goes through all the members of it. Team Wales, Glory's out of this fight. CBL low, Arietti trying his best to kite back, but in goes the Emperor with a big gnarl DNK following into the back line. Glory gets popped. Killer Queen though, looking for Palette's going to be able to get one, but that is all 4 kills for 2. SBTC take the fight in Nagia on the run, trying to get under the safety of his tower, but the tower is disabled and Nagia will fall. SBTC get the ace.
Back-to-back massive gnarls, but it came too late for Wales, and it's SBTC who have the damage, and they have Boros on Celebrity. They are ending this game.
It felt like it was so close. It felt like the game had a few more fights in it, but SBTC with an ace take game 1 over Team Wales.
Was a little bit of heroics, but in the end, just that one hostile takeover destroyed Team Wales, removed Glory from that fight, and I think we're going to see it on the replay on the mainstream. But yeah, just gets a three-man hostile takeover into that Infernum Moonlight Vigil, and followed up by a massive gnarl.
Emperor.
Absolutely insane. Just the wombo all came together for SBTC, that team fight, and just tore them apart.
Emperor, again, showing it doesn't matter how much you want to focus him out, he is going to be cracked in team fights anyway, even if you want to pick the Silas into his Gnar. We're going to jump on into a short break, and when we return, we're going to have game 2 of this series. And while you guys get to enjoy the break, I've got to work out who on earth I'm giving my MVP points to. welcome back everyone. We are heading in to our second game of the first series of the day. Team Wales against SBTC. Marby, rather unsurprisingly, SBTC won. Team Wales, though, they put up a decent fight, but not quite enough in the end.
Yeah, they kind of got a little bit rolled in the early game. DNK was just able to completely control that jungle matchup and get off to a fantastic lead. But once that tower dive came in on the top side of the map, the game sort of was pulled back to an even enough state that it didn't really feel like Wales were out of it until just that one big wombo team fight from SBTC was at the right place with long enough death times that they could just end the game.
Now, before game one, we talked about some of the strong points for SBTC and Team Wales. I want to talk about the weakness for Team Wales. I'm sorry that I keep pausing. I ate a sweet before this game, and it was like, one of those chewy sweets, but it's been out in the air for so long that it became like rock hard. So I've been like trying to chew through it, and it's taken a lot longer to get through than I expected. So I want to talk about the top lane for the side of Team Wales, Nagia, because Nagia, this is his first full split. He's had a few games in previous splits, but he's always been a sub. Now he's got a starting position, and he's not quite been there. And we were discussing it after game one, outside of off air, and he hasn't been terrible, but you can clearly see the difference between himself and some of the top laners in the split.
Yeah, you definitely can. Especially in that game. Just Enpa solo killed him over and over again, even in 2v1 situations, got more solo kills. And yeah, you just sort of see him fall apart, and that's been a lot big weakness that has sort of brought Wales down in a lot of their matchups. Against Coated, he fell down very hard, which gave Genius that opening. Against Team Secret, Hero just ran over him in all three games, and it's just sad. It's the obvious weakness that needs to be shored up for the side of Wales, and unfortunately, Emperor is looking like the best top laner in the league right now, so that's going to be a little bit hard to do in terms of one game, especially when you don't have counterpick this time.
And to be fair to Emperor as well, just to give the man some extra kudos, he was practically playing 1v2 in game one as well. Killer Queen was up topside so often.
Yeah, Killer Queen flashed over the river wall to kill him under tower at like level 2. So there's not really much Emperor can do there. And then from there, Killer Queen's just there every single time when Emperor's trying to push, and still walked out pretty happily and had good impact in fights.
I think that is my favourite moment of Summer Split so far. That flash over the wall from Killer Queen. In fact, it might be my favourite moment of the year as a whole. I don't know, there was just something about seeing that flash and then the dive on the tower that just got me. But we are heading into Picks and Bans for game 2.
I saw it in his head. I was like, he's not going to. Surely not. Nope, he does.
I mean, I think for Killer Queen, it was a case of, look, I could walk the long way around, or I can flash, and that way I've committed myself to the play. Once I flashed, I can't back out of it, and I think that's what went through Killer Queen's head. Either way, Picks and Bans for game 2, roughly the same as what we saw in game 1. The big difference, though, is SBTC are banning away the Renata that they picked in game 1 when they were on blue side.
Yeah, completely understandable. It's been such a strong pick. It's the best support in the game right now. And Team Wales are banning away the Gwen, which I don't think it's necessarily required. I guess it's just something that Nagia they feel if Enpa gets his hand on it, Nagia will not be able to match it with anything. So that's an interesting ban from the side of Wales. I don't like it at all, and well, let's sort of seeing what's left open. Zeri got banned instead, so quite a few things that were missing from that first game are now here. Can't quite recall them off the top of my head. But this is one. This is a very big
Lee Sin. I'm trying to think what else was banned away. I think it was mid laner Talia. I think Talia got banned away from Dia 1.
Diego and Talia were banned. That was it. And now we're gonna have to see what SBTC's responses are. I am actually
Please
just
give us
gonna
a
go
ribbon,
with
a blind
something
ribbon.
else.
Go on. It's never going to happen. SBTC just going through all of the different options that they can pick. And then in the end, they go back to the Narn. We were talking with Tim about this in the break, and he was talking about how you could just pick Nar so early because it is such a strong pickup. I would love it if Nagia has something like the Irelia up his arsenal to try to abuse Emperor's Nar.
Yeah, the Irelia is definitely something that can punish the Gnar, but it also can suffer really badly if you aren't able to jump on top of the mini Gnar form, and it's a very volatile matchup. You can't get it going because you just kind of don't translate quite well into the team fights without that lead. So just SBTC changing as little as possible. Renata is of course gone, so they can't go for that and keep the exact same composition, but so
Just
far,
pick
they
up
broke.
Jinx. Okay, they're actually going for the center.
That was also not bad.
That was
Forgot.
banned away, yes.
Wait,
That
Swain was Swain was an R2 ban, round 2.
Oh,
ban.
yeah.
I forgot about that.
Well, okay, so Team Wells, they've got themselves in the center Tom Kench. We still have to see what they will be taking in the solo lanes. SBTC, surely they pick up the Volibear now, otherwise it just gets banned away in phase 2.
Or the Silas. I think the Silas is absolutely a massive takeaway. It's super strong right now, and if you pick that up, you probably have 2 of the best solo laners in the game, and neither of which have really fantastic counters available. So this is going to be very interesting. Plus, sure, they can ban away 2 junglers, but you don't have to ban away junglers in response or anything. So you're going to get perhaps at least a Xin Zhao. You're going to get one of Veigar, Wukong, Volibear, because they can't ban out all 3. And you're pretty happy with that as SBTC, so you can just target Glory.
I think definitely the Volibear gets banned away. Also, SBTC banning away the LeBlanc. We saw in game 1 Silas versus LeBlanc, but the matchup was the other way around, where it was Glory who had Silas, and this time Glory needs to find something to go up into this Silas. We've seen his Victor in the past. He's a Corki, though, banned away for this game.
Swain ban away is gonna fight them a little bit, but I guess you just sort of... It's so hard. I don't really know what the best option is into Silas. We've seen Ari in the past, and it's okay. The Spirit Rush is a fairly mediocre ultimate to steal. Perhaps you go for something like the Lissandra, as Ari has been taken away, and just try and set up alongside Killer Queen to pop off and just try and delete DNK early into these fights. Not DNK, Celebrity early into these fights. Get rid of Aphelios, but there's so much to go for, and none of it's particularly great into the Silas.
It's very
Maybe you just go
difficult.
Seraphine mid. Who knows?
I don't know. Seraphine center, it's broken. I don't like it. Either way, the Volibear is available, and that is what SBTC will be locking in for themselves. So they're going to have the R5 support, but we'll see whether it's like what we saw in game 1 and we get a Braum to round out the day.
Yeah, Braum's kind of bad into center, so I wouldn't expect to see it. The Talia lock-in, that's actually pretty decent. You've got pretty good range advantage. Plus, your ultimate is just a wall. It's not the best thing in the world to have for D1 to take, and the Gangplank is probably one of the best matchups that remain into Gnar in sort of a neutral state. So Team Wales walking away pretty happy with their composition overall. Lots of comfort on in the first 3 picks, and then just nice responses. But now we're gonna have to see if SBTC can throw a massive wrench into the works. The Pike would be interesting. I think Blitzcrank would be spicier.
Blitzcrank always spicier, but we get the Pike. I believe this is the 3rd Pike game we've got of this split. I think Taki played it earlier on in this split, and then I can't remember who else played it. BOB, yes.
BOB played it twice.
Oh, BOB played it twice. Ah, okay.
Taki did also play it, so 4th overall.
Well, we get a bit of Pike, we get some aggression. Either way, looking at Team Wales, I feel like we're in a similar situation to what we saw in game 1, where they've got a lot of scaling on their sides. If they can get to the late game, Gangplank and Sen are going to be absolute monsters.
Yeah, we are going to have to see, as the late game fights happen, it's very interesting. Both teams, I think, scale relatively evenly evenly across the board. Maybe it's a little bit harder for SBTC to play out as they have to play around rage timers. Palette's going to be a little bit more hit and miss of how he can play out team fights. He can't just sort of stand there and be a Tom Kench, for example, like CBL will be. So it feels like it'll be a little bit easier for the side of Wales, but overall power, I think it's about the same.
Okay. So we get ready to head on in to game 2. Killer Queen on his fabled Lee Sin. We'll have to see if he does miss out on any Sonic Waves. I don't think he'll miss out on many. But for the side of SBTC, again, they've got this Volibear. They've got what feels relatively similar to what they had in game 1 in terms of a stylistic standpoint. Surely SBTC make this a 2-0?
I feel that the cards are in their favor. Gonna be very interested to see how well Nagia can pilot this gangplank at the top side, because there's a chance that Na can just be can evolve into a complete menace again, especially if Volibear decides to give Nagia the treatment that Enpa got in game 1 from Killer Queen. So this could be very exciting as these teams are gonna spread out. Should be fairly basic starts. Killer Queen should have a little bit of extra priority working through his mid lane, but will not be able to push too deep into the jungles, because the side lanes should really they shouldn't really have much pressure in either top lane or bot lane, unless Nagia manages to find a very good trade on with that trial by fire.
Both junglers, though, starting on the bottom side of the map. So maybe we'll see some aggression towards that top side. As you mentioned, DNK might just want to give Nagia that same treatment that Empa got in game 1. I don't think Empa would want any ganks, though, to be honest, Marby, because if he gets ganks, that means no solo kills. And Empa's been enjoying his solo kills. I think he's on 16 right now in the split, because he did get 3, I believe, in game 1 of this series.
I think so. It's fairly high. He's racking them up pretty quickly, and he's going to be looking to add a few more, quite for sure. Gameplay's going to be a little bit harder to get into. We're going to play a little bit safer and have that free wave clear from range as the time goes on, but very aggressive trading coming out early on that you really like to see it coming out from these two players. Now we're going to see a bit of a scrap in the bot lane. See who can actually find this level 2 first. It looks like Wales are getting the advantage, but they won't be able to really capitalize on it too much, I don't think. They don't really have a way to force a trade coming out level 2. So it's just going to be a little bit of a back and forth, maybe try and push Pike off experience best he can, and here comes the pain.
Empa jumping in. Can he land any CC? Nagia flashing out of the boulder toss. And that is one summoner spell down for the side of Team Wales.
Good flash to put enough distance. DNK could have committed the flash to follow, but it would have been a little bit too far away, and Nagia would have ended up getting safe under tower. So you got the flash early. You can return to that comfortably, and now Killer Queen is going to be very aggressive. I don't think you win this, buddy.
Oh, dearie me. Killer Queen, does he want to go in? Doesn't have a smite, so can't smite onto the red buff. He's forced to walk away. Maybe he can try to help out Glory on DR1, but won't be successful in that. Never mind, DR1 maybe going in a little bit too far, but DR1 might actually be able to turn this one around. In a 1v2, DR1 gets first blood, and now looking for Glory. Sky Splitter sadly doesn't land onto Glory. Good seismic shove. DR1, does he die? Going in, flashing away from the Abductor's Glory, and DR1 almost getting 2 kills for nothing.
Yeah, you could actually see how the passage of play was actually panning out there as we moved down into the mid lane. We saw that Glory had actually tried to make his way up, but just took so much damage from the side of DR1 that wasn't actually have been able to assist Killer Queen like was planned when he made that aggression, made that push towards the red buff, but on the way out just did not respect the Silas damage level 1. Oh, well, early levels, like level 3, level 4 now. So just didn't respect this early Silas burst and just
Palette.
and Palette.
Oh, Dia1 going for another aggressive play, but unable to get onto Glory. Now in a 1v1 with Killer Queen. Could look to go onto Glory again, but is just on the run. Will be able to sidestep out most of the damage from the threat. He looks to go back on Killer Queen, but the unraveled earth stops the dash in its track. Dia1 still looking for Glory in a really tricky situation. Goes the Kingslayer! Not enough! He gets a burn! Corrupting Potion, I think, getting the kill for Dia1.
The Corrupting Potion comes out big, and you just saw how long he can survive. Kingslayer is absolutely nuts at this stage in the game, and just survives so long. DNK getting aggressive. He's only going to get the one chicken before the teleport from Glory sends him packing, but this pressure coming out from the Silas is so much. That's 2 kills already. The scoreboard does not want to tell us that is the case. Big Wales fans coming in from the VTV production. But it is, that is not the start you want to give to the enemy Silas for sure. And this is set up for Dia1 to just take over this game real fast.
Was it red buff burn? Because he does have double buffs.
He does, because if he got the kill onto Killer Queen earlier, but I'm not sure. It feels like, I think it timed out a little bit beforehand, but does not seem to be the case. Yeah, it just seems like red buff was the deal maker, and oh my goodness.
Emperor go for solo bonus again, but the Sonic Wave lands from Killer Queen, dives on in, and Nagia will be able to get the kill.
Not quite enough, but sees Killer Queen top. That's the pressure. That gives SBTC time to pick up the Dragon Cross map. So, in the end, Emperor's life was traded very effectively, and it's all fine and dandy for the side of SBTC. They are willing to take this fine, as Dia1 starting to lose out on a trade from Glory.
Dia1, can you calm down, you absolute lunatic? But this time, Glory does get the kill.
Yeah, with a little bit of assistance from that Tower Barrage, and just, yeah, they catch Emperor poking his head up very far, and there's something going on in the replay. I don't think it might be much, the picture-in-picture. In the end, yeah, Emperor dies.
We go back to the picture-in-picture when everything has ended in the picture-in-picture.
Of course, it's what we want. Palette's taking a lot of damage. Love to see it. That's the trade. DNK lost a lot of summoners. Ariadne is down 2 summoners. Palette down 2. So 2 flashes for 1. Not really worth it when there's a Devour coming up very shortly in a wave or 2. But nice attempt from SBTC. They certainly tried. They certainly gave it their all.
Okay, I want to do a quick throwback to the last Pike game we had in the VCS. I'm really sorry, but it was Genius against Scam. It was BOB on that Pike. And it was a questionable Pike performance, I think is the best way to phrase it. And one of the reasons it went badly for Genius, I think, as you were phrasing it in that series, Marby, was the fact that Genius only looked for engages through Pike, and whenever they couldn't find those Pike engages, it was, oh, I guess we can't do anything now for 10 seconds. But I feel like this SBTC composition is not that same composition that is entirely reliant on a Pike engage.
They have a lot. They have options available. They have the Gnar. They have the Moonlight Vigil. They can also look for something like a Dragon's Rage kick from Silas, which is going to be very interesting to see. But now DNK is overstepped, and he's going to get booted into Glory.
He kicks DNK into Glory, but Dia1 is there as well. They will get the kill onto DNK in the hijack. Dragon's Rage from Dia1, not enough, and now Team Wales, they're making their way up to the top side. Emperor's on the run, but the Weaver's Wall, is it coming in? No. And Emperor now in a 1v3, no solo kill this time round for Emperor. Dia1 flashing forward, looking for the kill onto Nagia. Emperor's actually going to survive. How has he done that?
Dia1 saves Emperor's life. He draws the attention of 2, pulls them away. Fantastic tanking from the side of Dia1, letting his DPS get to safety. And now they're going to go pick up this tower, unless there's a sneaky over the wall from Killer Queen, but does not look like it. There's nothing really in the tank, so...
Oh, Emperor's staying as well. Everyone's staying.
Oh, he's fine.
Oh, Phantom on the toe of the wall.
Oh,
Killer Queen. Of course he lands a Sonic Wave. Palette
course he
flashes.
follows it.
DK shows up. Ariete in the top lane as well. Everyone on the top side. Abductor's not land, but Killer Queen will fall nonetheless. And it is a 1-for-1 overall.
I think that was worth it, trading jungler for support when Rift Herald's on the menu, and that's just Killer Queen, the embodiment of Lee syndrome. He lands that Q and he says, "I must follow," and so he does. Over the wall, he's gonna give up his life, and that gives SBTC fantastic positioning. Now Glory's gonna walk into DR1 and have to get away. Oh no, it's over.
Oh, it is over. DR1, what's that? His 5th kill of the game?
Good question. I haven't
Wait,
seen
no,
the
it can't be
score.
5th kill. SPTC only have 4 kills. Never mind.
Four
Ignore me.
But yeah, just gets over the wall, but lands that Q. It's fantastic mechanics, but it's
Team death, team death.
making. As he walks straight into DNK, and then DR1's able to just pick this up. The kill onto Glory is just extra on top of it, and now this SBTC Rift Herald has to be the case. Killer Queen. I don't know. I never
Oh, this
trust
is
him
why
to-
we love the VCS.
Yeah, that's it. It's absolute chaos. 3, 2, and 1 is the side of DO1. Now just need to pick up an assist for Glory, and then they're matching. They're lovely friends, and that's it. That's all.
9 kills. Can I also just say, both mid laners 3 and 2 right now. Glory actually has more CS, so Glory is more fed than Dire 1. How that happened, I don't know. Because, as I said before, I thought Tier 1 had like 5 kills or something. I thought that's how many he had managed to pick up. So yeah, I don't know where that's happened. We've had a crazy first 10 minutes of this game, if anyone's tuning in right now. Game 2 between SBTC and Team Wales, and the gold is practically dead even right now as well.
Dead even, just that Infernal Drake and a back pocket Rift Herald making up that difference. And with this power and this positioning over the bot lane, looks like the dragon is next on the menu. Killer Queen scouting that with that Sonic Wave, but does not really have any lanes in position to help contest it. So 2 dragons for SBTC Esports, and they are very happy right now. Just slowly building up their small advantages. And well, if they can get some more plates down as well, that's fantastic. They want the Cephalios ahead. They want to catch him up to the rest of the game.
Runaway Ariete, you don't want to be heading down. Oh, lucky to avoid out on the bone skewer. DNK is here and has the Stormbringer available. That will disable the tower, and there is a wave that is crashing in as well. Moonlight Vigil landing onto both members. Graviton with a lockdown. The Devour will keep Ariete alive. Spat back out the shield. Big Padilla one making his way over. But here's Killer Queen and Glory as well. Team Wales are bringing more friends to the fight.
Oh.
And DR1 is kicked. DR1 is slapped. And DR1 is murdered.
That was a beautiful roundhouse kick over the rocks. Instant stun and just perfect lockdown. Now, Palette's lurking. They don't seem to be aware, but he can just get over the wall, not in any real danger. Blue buff going to go down, but the real victory here is they deny the Rift Herald play, most likely. Unless Killer Queen's going to get too hypey again.
This is the VCS. Plays do not get denied. Plays just get facilitated. However, nobody will die in that particular play.
Yeah, that sort of fizzled out a little bit. Just couldn't quite bring it all over the
Round 3, folks. Let's
Oh,
go. Celebrities forced to flash away from the Sonic Wave. Is that it? Are we actually done, Marby?
Well, that's DNK has backed. Killer Queen has not left the area. Celebrity and Palette still hanging out. It looks like it's over. Can't
Marby,
quite say yet.
Is this going to be the feeling when AOT finally release their final season for real?
No.
Is it over? It's finally over. No more.
Sorry. This is final season part 12.
Version 2.9.
Yeah.
Oh, dearie me. Okay, we're going. We've got a play happening once again. Flashing out of the undertow. And CBL flashes away from any further damage. Wait, did he just die? Did he just W?
Yeah, Abyssal
Okay.
Dive. They had no CC left, so it's just gonna
Oh,
be the Rip
gosh.
Tower drop. No plates were able to be claimed because of the earlier kerfuffle, and now it's
No
just
plates
a
were
little bit
damaged.
more wasted Herald.
No plates were damaged in the making of this video.
Eh,
Okay. Has it ended for real now?
looks like it. Just a bit more trading in the mid lane, and all in all, we're stuck at a small gold lead for the side of Team Wales. Dragons in the side of SBTC, and all in all, I think that means we're pretty much even. Especially when you take into consideration the 3 gold Nagia will be printing for himself, thanks to that gameplay passive, and that should be the bulk of the lead, I would imagine, in that top side, because it looks so very even across the rest of the map.
And Nagia has that first item completed. Emperor doesn't, but yet Nagia is playing very cautiously of Emperor. Surprisingly so, considering that Triforce has been completed. Oh, very nice triple power from Nagia.
And I'm surprised Emperor is not this one.
Just flash it, Killer Queen.
Should know by now. Killer Queen is always nearby, and that's kind of it. Nagia is basically just trying to pull the wave, get a little bit of poke down onto Emperor where he can, and then bait him in for Killer Queen.
You know, this game right now, Bobby, I feel like this top side is like, you know, when your dad like takes you football, or like your older brother or something like that, and you're playing in a field, and then they'll like set up a goal for you, so all you have to do is just like toe poke it in the goal because they're like wrestling down the goalkeeper or something. That's Killer Queen right now, just always on the top side helping Nagia. Here you go, here's the kill for you.
Give you a softball so you can hit a 6, you know, and then you just have such poor coordination that you just end up getting stumped anyway.
That's when Killer Queen becomes. That's when Killer Queen becomes the dad who starts shouting like, "How could you miss it? It was so easy!"
And that's when I give up my career in sports. Yes, very much so. They're just trying. Nagia just trying to keep this wave pull, trying to feed it in, and good seismic shove from Glory gets a bit of good damage down onto Celebrity. But look at the top side. This is the side of the fun right now. Wall comes down, and
I thought Killer Queen was stuck. Kicked back over the wall. DNK will fall, and Team Wales get the one and only kill of the fight before turning their attention towards the Rift Herald.
Yeah, the ability to just traverse the map so quickly is what makes this Talia so great, and able to cut off DNK, give Killer Queen that access to that kick, knocks down DNK, picks up a Rift Herald, and now they can put that wherever they so desire. They actually already picked up the bot lane tower, missed that on the notes, as yeah, Arietti and CBL just finding an isolated tower and picking that up for free. Now they're going to break open this mid lane, and this should provide so much pressure for the side of for the side of Wales now to control vision and get a really good grasp on this game.
And they're going to be able to get their first Drake of the game. We have a Mountain Rift, and the first Mountain Drake goes the way of it, Team Wales, as they can look to start stacking those up, and that's going to be really nice for CBL and Killer Queen to kind of frontline any damage from the likes of Celebrity and DR1.
And again, going for a little bit of dirty farming right now, and well, now he's lost the Mega Gnar. Does he want to continue?
And Emperor's on the wrong side of the map as well. So Emperor, I don't know how he's going to get out of this, because Glory is on his way up, and Nagia's just been waiting, flashes out of the seismic shove. Poor Gnar.
He's doing his best. He's trying so hard, but every time he goes to bully someone, bully Nagia, a teacher pokes his head around the corner. It's like, oi, stop that.
Okay, Marby, that is incredibly unrealistic to suggest that a teacher would actually prevent bullying instead of just blaming the person who's getting bullied. So I demand that you think of another metaphor.
They're usually okay when they are present at that time. It's usually a dissuasive measure rather than a retributive, whatever. Let's move on. Point is, Glory shows up, Emperor runs away. That's how it goes. Now we're back to just playing farm ping pong. We're waiting perhaps for that next objective. minute to this Baron, so a little bit of vision has been set up there. But neither team is probably really confident to start it, so just gonna wait perhaps for this dragon to be the next real point of call.
So,
Move on.
I just want to say quickly, I don't think I've seen Palette use his ultimate once this game. I don't think he's had an opportunity. It's not Flame. I'm just saying, I don't think we've seen a death from below yet.
Really
Fun
nice.
interaction.
Yeah,
Okay,
really nice
we don't.
placement. Ooh.
That cannon barrage is questionable. DNK making his way over. Killer Queen here doesn't land the Sonic Wave, so that's just a solo kill for glory.
Appeared to be in the way,
Oh,
but
the
yeah.
stream went down as well.
Oh,
So, hello everyone on VCS English. I don't know if you can hear us. Maybe they can. Maybe they can't. Either way.
Yep, they can.
Okay, cool. Good. I saw like the thing come up where it says like the broadcaster's no longer broadcasting thing. I thought, that might be an issue, but it seems like it has resolved itself.
Seem to be fine right now, and Killer Queen kept pushing up. Team Wales making the most out of that Twemper. Glory popping off this game, being able to land fantastic seismic shoves that have really changed the course. Now, Team Wales feeling very much in control right now, and that's exactly what they need to do. They want to turn this around. They want to try and take a scalp off one of the best teams in the league. If they do that, that would really kill your narrative from the start of the day about the two undefeated teams matching up. But that said,
Well, that's
I'm here
two
for it.
games that Wales have to win. 2 games.
Yeah, that's true. But this is a good start. You want that start of getting at least one.
Well, a 2k gold advantage right now for Team Wales. We've got Baron up on the map as well. We've got a Drake in 1 minute's time. We've seen the teams handshaking over Baron versus Drake in game 1. We'll see whether they want to do that again here in game 2. Ariete now having that Umbral Glaive, so it's just clearing out vision so easily, which makes Palette's life a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, Palette has been real starved right now. Hasn't been able to pick up his own Umbral Glaive and contest the Vision War. And I have to say, speaking of items, big fan of what Ariete is doing, going for this Kraken Slayer after the Umbral Glaive. Umbral Glaive is, of course, just absolutely nutty and way too strong, but with the Kraken Slayer in hand, Ariete will actually be a decent damage threat on the center and contribute to fights more than just the Eclipse, Pokey, almost a heal bot, Q bot that we've seen from a lot of centers recently, and looking to pick off Palette.
Howdy, Palette, says Glory. Palette flashes over the wall, so here's an ult traded for a flash. And now Team Wales find themselves with priority in the river for this Mountain Drake. But look at Emperor. He's all the way on the other side. No Narbar will get spotted out by a control ward, and Team Wales will just be able to pick up this Drake for free, their second Drake of the game. And Ariete not even staying around to be able to pick up the 2 mists that were dropped, just going to head straight on over now towards the Baron. May look for a fight. Palette hooking CBL over the wall. Killer Queen Sonic Wave not quite going to land.
Yeah, looking on for the flank, but yeah, just Wales just trying to beeline it. Killer Queen!
Killer Queen finds DNK, lands the kick. Will be able to chunk down DNK down to half health. Daiwan has shown himself, but not looking for the engage just yet. He's just sitting in the Baron pit. It's going to take damage from the Nasher before he's able to dash his way out. All the while, Team Wales still fully healthy.
Yeah, Team Wales just pushing them off that middle wave. Did not want to trade a tower for that dragon, and in that extended play, they don't get any kills, but they get a massive health lead, and waves aren't in position for them to capitalize on
Ariete,
it.
get the miss! Ariete!
Baron's not quite there either, not quite on the table, and just that Stormbringer being able to keep DNK safe and stop that pick from going down means no Baron for the side of Wales, but we're starting to see that they have pretty much full control, and SBTC are not quite willing to take these team fights if they're not on their terms.
Now, I do want to go back to the scaling aspect that we talked about before, Marby, because do you think this is a case that if Team Wales can scale and if Sen and Gangplank get to their strong item breakpoints, do you think it just becomes very difficult for SBTC to win, or do you think it's still a case of just whichever team executes their composition better will win?
Yeah, I do think it's whoever executes better will win, because Gnar ultimate is always fantastic late game. Late game Aphelios damage is huge. Silas as well is a menace. And if you can get those pike resets going, it should all be fine for SBTC. The problem is, it is harder to execute on if you're SBTC.
Very good hook from Palette, but CBL just uses the ultimate to deny SBTC from engaging further. But that's a Q for an ult, and now there is a lot less PL for Ariete or even Gloria and Nagia.
That's sort of it. They have to play through vision a lot more. They have to be a little bit sneakier to really utilize the strengths of their composition. And if they go for the single pick, the Devour can always upset them. Now, pushing up in the siege, Glory isn't really in a position to push the wave, so that could have been an opportunity. But backing off from SBTC, they have full vision control over this pit, and want to keep it that way for sure, but they are going to reset, and this gives Team Wales the opportunity to clear it out themselves. Just sort of sitting in a bit of a lull state, waiting for the next thing to happen.
Nagia and Emperor just sitting inside and kind of throwing waves backwards and forwards to each other in that previous kind of standoff that we saw between SBTC and Team Wales. It was just Nagia sitting in the bottom lane, and now Dire 1 maybe stepping too far forward, and it is 3 members looking for Dire 1. He will go golden, but he's in such a difficult situation, and there's not much that SBTC can do around the map. Nagia will get the kill, and Emperor's just going to keep on pushing this wave in the bottom lane, as Celebrity will be able to secure the outer tower in the mid lane.
Push for the mid lane was the response, but now Team Wales are going to have to try and get something back for it. Going to go start up this dragon, but CBL is caught out alone.
Oh, he fails the flash, and he can't get the Abyssal dive off in time. Palette gets the kill, using the death run below. Still has that stack, still has it ready to go. Can they catch Palette? The Sonic Wave will land. Killer Queen goes in. Phantom Undertow does get used.
Okay, Killer Queen. Man, that was a bit rough, but in the end, that is Palette getting out, so it's 1-for-1 overall. But so much pressure in mid lane tower going down. SBTC coming out ahead on the play, and just gonna see, yeah, CBL just too far away from the rest of his team, and a good bone skewer just means he's isolated. And of course, the failed flash does not help matters. Can't get out at all.
Drake in 28 seconds. That's going to be the focus for both teams, and both teams have all 5 members up and alive. Ultimates available for practically everyone, with the exception of Palette and Killer Queen, but those will be coming off cooldown very shortly.
Teleports are up for both for pretty much everyone across the map. Glory doesn't have one at the moment, but has that wall, so is not going to feel left out by any stretch of the imagination. But I would imagine they want to keep Glory near the objective to wall off an entrance, and Queen, Team Wales are just giving up this dragon for this Baron control, but they only need to send Emperor to take the dragon, and SBTC can contest with ease.
And don't forget, Emperor has teleport, so he can just teleport right into that Baron pit as soon as he is done. He's in Mega Gnar right now, so when he teleports in, he will be in Mini Gnar. This is a big advantage for Team Wales. They're looking for Celebrity. Sonic Wave lands, flashes, gets the kick onto Celebrity, and Celebrity will fall. 1-0. Palette forced out of the fight. DNK on the run, licked and stunned. DNK out, Die 1 on the side. Team Wales don't know which way to go, and instead, they look towards the Baron. They get their kill, and now they look to start up on the Nashor once again.
Flash and Ultimate are down from DNK. He has to reset as well, so there's no Smite Steal in the books. It'd be up to the burst of DO1 to try and take it. It'd have to be a miracle. CBL is not letting anyone close. That's a free Baron.
Baron secured for Wales, and SBTC, all they got for it was, well, they took a death, and they were able to get a Mountain Drake. So they are one Drake away from Soul Point. That is a silver lining for them, but it is Team Wales who now control the game with that purple buff.
Yeah, we have to see Wales really make the use of it. They have decent side laning with the Gangplank and the Talia, but can they really make the use of it in controlling this mid wave and making sure that they don't get collapsed on by any means? And this is an interesting wall from the side of Glory. I think I was expecting him more to be for a lock someone off, but it did set Celebrity into a position where he had to use the flash, let Killer Queen kick him back into the team, and then here they make the call to go for Baron and leave DNK alive rather than go for the kill. Overall, it's correct because they did enough to keep him away from the Baron for sure, and now the siege is going to start anew. They have good range on Ariete, but he's pretty much the only one. I suppose Glory is ranged as well. I'm so used to melee mid laners, but they have decent range and they can just sort of poke at this tower. Not the best wave clear coming in for SBTC either, but the blue gun is there, so they can do a little bit.
And this wave clear is pretty much all on Celebrity as well. DO1, again, if he wants wave clear, he's got to kind of get right into the thick of the action, and he just takes so much poke from Glory and Ariete. Weaver's wall drop down. This is just to allow Team Wales to really siege onto this inhibitor tower. They land a seismic shove onto DNK. Cannon barrage in the railgun will secure the kill, and now Team Wales continue to pressure on it to the inhibitor tower. They will secure it, and now they look towards the inhibitor as well. Pellet almost hit by another great seismic shove from Glory, but Team Wales get what they want, and they will make their retreat.
Inhibitor open, still got a minute left. Unfortunately for Wales, their side waves are in shambles, and they can't quite rotate into a neatly set up conversion to pick up another side lane tower, so probably gonna struggle a little bit to pick up another thing off this Baron buff. They might grab another Alpha if they're lucky, but seems like this will be the end of the Baron. But inhibitor broken, that is fantastic news for the side of Wales.
And once the inhibitor's broken, once the base is cracked open, it just makes things so much easier for the aggressing team to be able to find that killer blow. Just so much more added pressure now available to them. As you mentioned, their sideways were in a bit of a dire state, and Team Wales now looking towards the bottom lane and looking towards that inner tower and the inhibitor tower subsequently after.
This generally has been a bit of a strength of SBTC, as we've said in the past. They've had very good macro control, and the side wave control has been part of that. And that sort of setup here does prevent a lot of power that could have come out from this Baron. This could have been so much more. It could have been 2 inhibitors if waves had been set up for Wales, but everything's been happening very fast. Wales didn't really have the time to set things up properly, and Killer Queen is 10 feet ahead of the rest of his team as always, and careful, buddy.
On the plus side for Killer Queen, he does have that dash if he needs to get out to safety, as demonstrated right there by Killer Queen himself. Inner tower now gone in favor of Team Wales, and now they have full control over this bottom side jungle that the observers are highlighting really well. And Drake up in 38 seconds.
Oh. Free calling within his own base with Moby Boots. You're wasting time there, my friend. Small nitpicks. If you're within your base walls, it's faster to walk back. Pretty much every time. So
look, Palette's legs are hurting. He doesn't want to walk anymore. He just wants to sit and get teleported back.
Anyway, now that's kind of all this extra time left. Those 2 seconds of tempo lost mean that this dragon is all belonging to Wales. However, they have given up the complete top side. SBTC have decided we are going to break this top lane tower. We are trading for that heavily. And there's no response from the side of Team Wales. They don't really want anything except this dragon, so that's going to be just a bit of extra gold coming onto Emperor. He's feeling very happy right now. Getting pretty far ahead. Maybe not far ahead, but he's got a lot of gold. But compared to gameplay, I don't know. Point is, he's happy. He's got some more items. He's going alright.
With that, Drake, both teams are now onto Soul Point, and I do feel, so correct me if I'm wrong here, Marby, but I feel like we had 11 kills in the first 15 minutes or so, and after that we've had 5 kills over the next 20 minutes.
Yep, that's pretty much the case. Teams have been playing a lot more defensively. SBTC, a lot of kills have been getting away sort of by the skin of their teeth for sure, and we've seen a few kicks that didn't work out. Killer Queen looking for so many picks time and time again. Here comes a pick onto him.
But Killer Queen not getting baited. He's got to find the kick, and Palette is dead. Just like that. Team Wales flashing forward. Seismic shove will land onto Taiwan. Flashes away out of the cannon barrage. But Team Wales will continue to aggress Taiwan using the abscond over the wall. But now there's a teleport coming in from behind. And SBTC are getting pins, and Celebrity is popped just like that. 2 for nothing, and Taiwan is surely going to fall. Goes Golden, but Nagia is waiting, will get the kill with the barrels, and now DNK is on the run as Nagia and Glory continue to hunt. Team Wales, though, just continue to push in the mid lane. Emperor lands an ult onto Killer Queen, who just goes Golden, and Emperor will get run down. Seismic Shove will not land. Killer Queen dashes his way out. Palette now back alive, having respawned, but the siege just continues on to the Nexus Towers from Team Wales, and just like in Game 1, all of a sudden Team Wales win a fight, and Team Wales will take us to Game 3.
Not without getting another kill onto the pike. Fantastic play from Wales. They kept it real safe. They looked for picks over and over again, and then they tried to give Killer Queen a bit of his own medicine, but he turned that right around, picking off Palette, turning that fight beautifully, and huge team fight at the end there from Glory and the rest of Wales.
Okay, so we're going to be throwing into a break. We are going to be going offline on the stream, and when we do return, we're going to be breaking down Game 2 and heading into our draft for Game 3. So sit tight and don't worry if the stream goes down. We'll be back momentarily.